In the beginning of the Tanya, the Alter Rebbe introduced us to three different categories of people. The tzaddik, the righteous person, the opposite, the rasha, the wicked, evil person, and then the Benoni, the intermediary person. And we said that these three categories have their legal significance. In a court of law, if you're called the tzaddik, you're a righteous person, you probably have more good deeds than bad deeds, at least 51% good deeds. So you're on the scale, you come out with a verdict of being righteous and innocent, so to speak. And therefore you're blessed with the kind of approval and the good life of the tzaddik from God. And if you're rasha, if you're wicked, it means on the balance scale, it's the bad deeds which outweigh the good deeds, and then you are treated accordingly by God. And then there's the Benoni, the intermediary one. But the Tanya is not a book of law, as we've said. The Tanya is a book of exploring spiritual truths. In terms of understanding the spiritual, truthful nature of these three different categories, it looks very different. Like we said, even the Benoni, the intermediary person, not on a legal level, but on a spiritually descriptive level, is somebody who never falters, never makes any mistakes, never does anything wrong, because the moment you do something wrong, you've already caved in to the animal soul and you become a kind of rasha. There's a certain sinfulness within you. Now, with regard to the tzaddik, the righteous person, we said that there were two categories of the tzaddik. That's what the Talmud says. There's the tzaddik gamur, the complete tzaddik, and the tzaddik she'eino gamur, the incomplete tzaddik. What's the difference? The Talmud says the tzaddik gamur, the complete tzaddik, is the tzaddik v'tov lo. The tzaddik, there is good in him, good to him. And the incomplete tzaddik is the one that has tzaddik v'ra lo, there is bad within him or bad to him. And we gave a number of explanations from different commentaries when we first started the Tanya. In this chapter, the Alter Rebbe explains this to us in the classic Tanya form of the spiritual nature of these two different tzaddikim. The complete tzaddik is somebody who has completely been overtaken by their godly soul. As we studied in the previous class, the two souls are battling over the territory, like two kings battling over a territory. The territory being here, your body, your organs, your faculties. When a person will become 100% completely overtaken by the godly soul, and every agenda, every desire of the godly soul permeates every aspect of your mind, your thoughts, your intellect, your pursuits, your heart, your emotions, your desires, what you're attracted to, your behavior, all of your thoughts, the words you choose to speak, the actions you choose to perform. If you've 100% been influenced by the godly soul, then you are the complete tzaddik. If you are not 100%, perhaps 99.9%, been overtaken by the godly soul, but there is a small vestige, a small remnant, a small part of you that is not completely absorbed and influenced by this godly soul, then you're an incomplete tzaddik. This is not suggesting that this incomplete tzaddik actually ever falls trap to caving in to the wills and desires of the animal soul. This incomplete tzaddik never actually performs any sin. In fact, in his conscious self, he may never actually even be motivated by desire to think about, to pursue any sin. However, somewhere deeply within this person, possibly even subconsciously or a little bit consciously, their level of tzaddik is incomplete. How do we test it? How does it play out within them? So the Alter Rebbe says, you explore the extent of their emotions, meaning their love. What we love identifies who we are. And when we love something, the test of its sincerity is by how much we hate the opposite. King David says in Tehillim, Oyevei Hashem sinu ra. Those that love God hate evil. Now the word hate is a harsh word, and one should never hate, meaning never hate a person. It's forbidden. But there is grounds, there is validity to hating, and that is hating the opposite of what you love. Meaning, if you love truth and you love God, and you love goodness, then you need to hate the opposite. You need to hate evil. That hate is healthy. The tzaddik loves God completely, 100% sincerely, with every single layer of their heart and their emotional capacity. This is better understood by two different kinds of love. We spoke about in the previous class. There's a love on fire, fiery love, and that creates within a person a certain, like fire does. It's very jumpy, and it gravitates towards higher and higher. So this creates within a person a kind of thirst and yearning and longing to connect with the infinite God, to connect with truth, to connect with that which is real. There's another kind of love like water, which is the metaphor for love of delight. Not fire, but delight. Water is different than fire. Water is still, water is calm, water stays in its place. The love of delight is not when I'm yearning and longing and thirsty. That implies that I'm not there and I'm wanting to get there. The love of delight of water is when I bask in the delight of being one with God and connected with truth. I'm not yearning to be there, I'm there. And I'm enjoying every moment of it. The complete sadiq has a complete love, fiery love and watery love, of a life of complete delight, having arrived at, having connected with, having been overtaken by the godly soul and that which is true and that which is real. And by definition, therefore, this tzaddik, this complete tzaddik, has complete, categorical hate towards anything that is the opposite of God and of truth. Think about it in a relationship, right? You with your spouse. This doesn't suggest that the test for how much you love your spouse is how much you hate everyone else. No, you're not allowed to hate people. But what you love about your spouse isn't just them as a person. It's more than that. You love the fact that you can be completely committed to your spouse. You love the fact that you can be intimate with your spouse. You love the fact that you can enjoy a relationship with your spouse. If you love that 100%, then by definition, you're going to hate 100% the notion of ever having an intimate relationship and commitment to anybody else. And that's a good thing. And that makes for a perfect marriage. To despise of not just ever, heaven forbid, engaging in a relationship with somebody else, but even the test, the hint, the desire for ever connecting on that level of commitment and intimacy with someone else is completely foreign to you. You've eradicated that because of your 100% love for the commitment and relationship with your spouse. That's the way it is with the tzaddik gamor, the complete tzaddik. He only has tov. He only has good within him. He has completely eradicated, eliminated any trace of the forces and the influence of the animal soul. It doesn't exist within him. Not just that he doesn't actually act upon it, he never even desires anything that is foreign and contrary to his pursuit and love of God and truth. The incomplete tzaddik has achieved possibly a 99.9% of love and commitment with God. Now that's still enormous. And chas v'shalom, they never actually perform any sin, but there's a small trace of something within the origins of their animal soul that has not been completely eradicated. And therefore their hatred towards evil, their hatred towards the notion of engaging in a relationship, in a commitment to something other than truth, other than God, is not 100%. It's 99.9%, or whatever kind of number it is. It'll never play out in their life in a sense that they'll ever be truly tested to commit a sin and do that which is wrong. But it does describe internally within their heart something a little bit incomplete. And because of that, they're called the incomplete tzaddik. And there's a trace of that kind of evil, of the workings of the animal soul still that remains within them. Now, in conclusion, all of this may sound a little foreign to many of us because we're talking about things and levels that we feel like we're never capable of. Now, the truth is, there's something true to that, meaning the Tanya actually was not written for the tzaddik, for that completely righteous person, because most people, as we've learned, cannot be that. The Tanya was written for the Benmeleh, for the mediocre person, for the intermediary person, and we're going to discuss the Benmeleh in a few chapters' time. But the Alter Rebbe does spend this chapter explaining to us that tzaddik, even if we may never ever be able to become that, is because it's important to at least know about it. And it's important to recognize what defines it, meaning something to strive for, something to think about, and to know that if we ever don't make it there, how we fall short and what we're missing out on. And even if we're not capable of becoming that, and most of us are not by design by God, so we shouldn't be upset, and we should be able to embrace who we are and perfect our full potential, as we're going to explain in a few chapters times, but to recognize the power and the greatness of being the tzaddik, and trying as much to emulate those kinds of relationships and connections, whether it's even in the incomplete form or in the complete form. So we have our work cut out for us. Wish you a blessed day. This class today was actually the portion for tomorrow for Shabbat, but we did it online today, so you can be prepared for Shabbat. All the best. Shabbat Shalom, and God bless you.